This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
The aftermath of every social revolution brings about change. Cultural norms and landmarks shift as our minds and hearts expand beyond the familiar. To everything, there is a season and a time to every purpose in the land of the living. This is our time to renew, revive, and restore the hope lost to the busyness of life. This is our time to dig again and rebuild from the storms of our past on a solid footing that holds. Welcome to The Foundation.
The Foundation. Foundation.
The Foundation with Hearts Grant is brought to you by Alive, APNL Holdings Limited, Burger King, Carey's Fabric and Uniform Store, Commonwealth Bank, the Deposit Insurance Corporation, Collect, Marco's Pizza, the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources, and Ron's Electric Motors.
Foundation.
It's the foundation. Foundation. It's the foundation. Foundation. So it's the foundation. Foundation. So it's the foundation.
It's the foundation that's rocking the nation. Howard Grant's the host, Guardian radio station 96.9, 12 to 2 is the time. You can call the show or use the text line. Yeah, he educates, he informs. He goes against the norm. He's really got that zeal. Plus, he's a child of God.
Foundation. It's the foundation. Foundation. So it's the foundation. Foundation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. 96.9 FM radio, Howard Grant and your company, The Foundation, on this beautiful, absolutely gorgeous Wednesday afternoon out here in the city. Sort of an overcast. We got a little bit of rain. We're extremely grateful for that. Can I say that? I am. I had some aloe vera in the front of the yard right there. My sister-in-law, my wife, seems to think I'm going through a midlife crisis. I want all these flowers. But I had some aloe vera out there. I was getting kind of dehydrated. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to have a little rain. They look nice and beautiful this morning. I hope that you're happy to get that little rain out there. The temperature kind of dipped last night, so I'm hoping that you slept at least comfortably for the evening. It's a beautiful thing. It's a couple things I want to kind of get out of the way first. This is the second time I got this call. I got a call from a very good friend of mine, a church brother, and he kind of hit me up today. And he says, Howard, listen, I don't know what the gentleman's name is, but he's a godsend. So I said, who are you talking about? He says, listen, man, and this is the second time he's done this, second or third time, actually. He said, you know the police officer that is on the corner right there at the intersection of the roundabout of Tony Darling Highway and Milo Butler, who flows traffic and allows traffic to flow, man. He said, it's a godsend, right? He said, I had to get my wife to work. First time he calls. He said, I had to get my wife to work. And we were running late, and we looked at the traffic and couldn't believe it. And she still was able to get to work on time. And I'm grateful to him for being able to do that. So essentially, I kind of surmised this, like, thank God for this man, my wife ain't around me, right? And then, he hits up today. He says, in the middle of the rain, this gentleman had that traffic flowing like this was Christmas. He says everything was going on point. Somebody text me and tell me what the gentleman's name is. Let me give him a proper shout out from the Royal Bahamas Police Force. He is doing a stellar job, and all those men and women in uniform throughout the length and breadth of our country that continues to do well. We want to be able to give you that sort of commendation, that social commendation of what you deserve, what is required of you. So we want to be able to say to that officer, somebody text me and tell me the gentleman's name, please, and tell me exactly who he is, his badge number and everything like that. He deserves that kind of commendation. I can tell you one thing. Every one of us in this country knows, or in this island, let me be as decent as possible, especially as an out islander. Every one of us in this island, on this island, we know If you live in the South and you got to be able to come that way, we know when he's off. Talk to me. We know when he is off. And so we're grateful to be able to have this sort of an opportunity, especially at those bottlenecks. We're still trying to figure out ways to kind of rectify this bottleneck issue, whether or not it's a overpass, whether or not it's other avenues of deviation, and trying to be able to figure out how to ensure that there is a proper flow of traffic. I don't know whether or not you guys are out there, the engineers and architects and other persons who are actually trying to figure this out. Maybe you thought about it. Maybe you put it before the government. Maybe it's too expensive. We don't know. But it's time to see these things rectify and the city have this sort of a flow and free movement that we can be able to talk about. So that's that. That's out the way. I want to be able to say that. And the second thing, too, I want to be able to acknowledge all those persons. Nancy DeVoe. Went to hear Nancy yesterday. She calls often. Hit me up on the Howard Helpline. And she's been wonderful, man. Nancy has kind of reached out to me. I tell her, I said, Nancy, I'm just trying to put this thing together so I can go to China and to Atlanta. So we're going to be doing some stuff like that. And she says to me, well, Howard, stop by. I got a little something I won't be able to bless you with. I said, well, praise God. I stopped by and I want to be able to say to Nancy, I thank you so very kindly for being able to do that, Nancy. You're a good, decent woman. You didn't have to. And I'm grateful for that. And as we go, I just want to be able to acknowledge all those persons who want to help like that. I got a couple calls. I haven't showed up to your space just yet. But if you want to be able to do that and you want to help like this, trust me, the money is going exactly where I say it's going to go. We're going to be able to bring this information to you and be able to take the team with us so you can have something that's interactive, live, and in full effect whilst we're going over to Atlanta and to China. I think this is a great initiative. I mean, maybe you're flippant about it. Maybe you're more traditionally steeped in your position, but we're going to expand what we do here at the foundation. It's going regional, and then we're going to go international. So we're strategically looking at avenues to be able to do this, and we're going to be able to expand significantly. We're calling it upscale. And in this upscaling, you're going to see us be able to make some modifications with the kind of support that we need. So if you want to do that, I want you to give me a call, 827-0111. 827-0111. Nancy DeVoe, I thank you so very kindly, my dear. You're sitting down home and all those, Nancy, can I do this? Anyway, we can talk about whether or not we can do that. But Nancy is... maybe we need like an eHarmony, right? We need like an eHarmony in the country. Talk to me, Nancy. We need like an eHarmony or Match.com because she is a beautiful soul. And I want to say that. She's an absolutely gorgeous woman and beautiful soul. And she is, Howard, you ain't no man of God, eh? You need to stop it, Nancy. You're doing a lot. So we can be able to get those things out there, right? Guys, it's a beautiful day. It's a Wednesday. You know it's a day that we're kind of chopping everything down and really being able to have a good conversation about what's happening in the news, what's out there. Make sure you pick up your Guardian newspaper. Pick up your Guardian newspaper. I mean, listen, talk to me. I can't even get no amen. Somebody text me. Talk to me, man. It is a wonderful thing when we still have men and women to be able to stand and speak truth to power, right? If you look in the papers this morning, you can be able to see some things that I think is rather peculiar, but nonetheless, it's in the paper, and I want to be able to talk about it. So it says, Guardian newspaper today, Wednesday, July 26, 2023. This country lacks leadership. It is bananas. A. Loftus-Roker worried that Bahamians increasingly marginalized. Former Minister of National Security Loftus-Roker, A. Loftus-Roker, who still widely known for his tough stance he took against illegal immigration when he was minister responsible for immigration, said yesterday that he remains concerned that the Bahamians are losing out in their country and lamented what he said is a lack of political leadership. When you have no more country, you see where you can go and claim anything, said Roker, who was asked his view on the controversy surrounding the release of the large group of Chinese nationals found in the British colonial hotel without any legal status in the Bahamas. There's some information that's coming through. That happened earlier this year. The ambassador for Chinese, a Chinese ambassador spokesman, declined to speak specifically yesterday. This is in the paper. The Chinese companies must follow local laws, embassy says. The Chinese embassy spokesman declined to speak specifically yesterday to the matter involving a large group of Chinese nationals, right? This is a crazy thing. And the spokesperson essentially went on to talk about the fact that China must be seen to be able to hold up the rule of law. They're moving in the spirit of transparency and being able to do these things. Somebody texts me and say, Banana Republic, piracy still rampant. These are texts coming through. You know what's a wild thing? I just want to kind of put this out there. And I thought I laughed so much this morning. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to be able to introduce you to my guest, but let me just read this first. Because I laughed this morning and I thought this was hilarious. Not hilarious, both hilarious, ha-ha, and absolutely, it blew my mind that this is sort of the course that we're taking from a political standpoint, flippant and with significant disregard as it relates to these particular persons and things. I want to touch this, right? Mitchell tells Bell not to respond to immigration. That's what he says, right? I can introduce him, I guess. This is Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell said that he told Immigration Minister Keith Bell not to respond to recent immigration controversies because it would not be beneficial to do so. That's one part. We got to be able to analyze that and chop that down. That's a political thing. That has nothing to do with the statute of law, rules and regulations, and the constitution that exists in this country. It is not beneficial politically to do so. Right? And then he went on to say he also suggested that someone in the Department of Immigration, a well-known ingrate, I laugh so much. Am I wrong for that? For him to be able to stretch it out far and wide like that, I thought it was hilarious. He says, a well-known ingrate who was disciplined before is behind the recent leaks about Mr. Bell's action. There's a lot of stuff in the papers today. Also, Shake Shack for guests only open until 5 p.m. Is this another avenue of segregation? Let's talk about these things. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to my very good friend and guest that's going to be sitting in the studio with me as we chop these particular things down, none other than Garth Roseborough. Garth, my brother, say good afternoon to the Bahamian people.
Well, a cool and wet Wednesday to everyone. I hope you're enjoying this weather that the good Lord has sent to you. Make the best of it, and make sure that you do something that's going to benefit you while it's cool. You know, there's a lot of things that we could not do in that heat. We couldn't plant our vegetables, and we couldn't plant our flowering trees. We couldn't do any painting or work outside, but this is one of those days you may have to get wet just a little bit, but it's a bit cooler. So go out there and enjoy the weather, but make sure to protect your head. We don't want you getting any flu or any COVID-like symptoms.
I'll let my wife know. Would you say it's the weather? This is the kind of weather for that?
Oh, yeah. The soil is nice and soft and manageable, and you can get some things done today.
This sounds interesting, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you can get some things done. So, beautiful day.
Maybe not today. I just want to be very clear. Today is the day. Amen. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I like the Guardian news. You know, I don't know if people understand that the Guardian has been in business for some 179 years. You know, to do such a business feat, you know, most businesses take about 3 years to see profitability, and then after another 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, they disappear. But I just want to thank the Guardian today for being there for the Bahamian people. I used to sell the Guardian when I was about 9, 10 years old. I used to stand on the corner of East Street and Wolf Road and sell Guardian. You know, and every now and then, I think back then the Guardian was like 25 cents or something like that. And sometimes people give you a $5 bill to tell you keep the change. So those were the good days. These days, I don't know what $5 could do for you, but I just wanted to just say thank you and give a shout out to the Guardian owners and those people who keep the Guardian alive. And thank you, Howard, for having me again on your station today.
Absolutely, my brother.
On my mind is amazing Loftus Roca says this country lacks leadership. For a man of such stature to say such a depth of language using the word lack, are we simply saying that there aren't any leaders in our communities who can actually come forth and make the miracles necessary to move our country forward? I do not believe this is what he's saying. I'm thinking that he's saying that right now, presently, in politics, those who are in the forefront, that he doesn't see the type of leadership that this country needs. In my mind, I wonder why so many people, Howard, are overlooked for participation in politics and overlooked for leadership in this country. And I've been perplexed over the course of a week as I considered our history in this country. What always seems to be a country that has benefited from opportunities. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about always legal opportunities. Some of them seemed a bit gray line. We know Christopher Columbus came here 1492, as the story is told, and he came and he decimated the Indian, the Arawak tribes, and took the wealth and took it back to Spain. We know of the days of piracy and buccaneering and shipwrecking and bootlegging. We heard of the days of drug trafficking, human smuggling, tax evasion. All these are industries of the past and some of them still present. But it almost seems as if there are some families that have done pretty well by way of these industries. One family in particular that stood out to me was that of a man, Howard. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. His face is on the $50 bill. I want to know if you know what I'm talking about this morning.
The $50 bill?
The $50 bill.
I don't have a 50 in front of me again. Who's it?
Pop Simonet.
Pop Simonet. Oh, yes.
Okay. Now, Pop Simonet's on the $50 bill, and this is what I found out, and you can look at it online. Pop Simonet was the longest-serving politician, Bahamian politician of all time. He served 52 years as a politician in this country. Pop Simonet, those are from current Eleuthera. They are Bahamian, 100% Bahamian, of course of a lighter hue. Pop Simonet was an educator. He only had 6 years of formal education. Yet he became a school teacher and then found out that being a school teacher was not a profitable way to go. So guess what he did next, Howard? He got into bootlegging. How would you care to tell us what bootlegging is? Can you recall from history what bootlegging is?
Recall? When I was born, they had drinks available. You didn't have to hide nothing.
All the alcohol that these people love to drink. In those days, early 1900s, there was something called the prohibition.
Prohibition, yes.
Alcohol was not allowed to be sold in the United States, but it was legal here in the Bahamas. Mm-hmm. So what a bootlegger had to do was leave the comfort of his home, go into international waters, deliver the whiskey or the liquor, whatever you want to call it, and then, of course, he would meet his party out to sea, and they would take it into the United States. So the reality is Pop Simonet was doing nothing wrong. He was just simply delivering a product to the international market, and he would meet his customer there, and they would take it in. Pop Simonet was also known to be a person who actually assisted the customs and the border authority of the United States at the time, at one particular time when other Bahamians had left them out there to die, left them adrift, and was told that Pop Simonet actually rescued these people. Pop Simonet was a decent man, they called him, because Pop Simonet took all of that wealth and he made industries happen for himself, made himself extremely wealthy to the point now where we can safely say that the family's empire is over $2 billion plus.
You can safely say that?
They can safely say that.
Did you get these people information?
No, it's online. It's online. It's on Wikipedia. It's there. That was back then.
Now,
over $2 billion.
You see me distant, because this is a live show.
Yes.
If you see me distant, I'm here with you. I'm listening. I just got some information. I just want to put that out there. I just received some information from the Ministry of Labor and Immigration.
Wow.
Right? It's an immediate release. And the release says it's a press statement for the Ministry of Labor and Immigration on the detailed clarification on questions raised by the leader of the opposition on immigration matters. This is wild. I read the entire thing just now,
and I want to be able to read it into the person's hearing. Let me take this commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen, get yourself prepared. We're going to put this thing on the table and talk about this when we get right back after this.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation.
The foundation. We'll be back right after this.
The foundation. The foundation.
Let me ask you a few questions. What's your name?
Pam.
Favorite food?
Steak.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Is your money safe?
It's under my beds, I guess so.
Are you serious?
Yeah, why?
Unless your money is in a bank or credit union that's a member of the Deposit Insurance Corporation, there's no guarantee it's safe.
Yeah, but what if something happens to the bank?
Your Bahamian dollar deposits are insured up to $50,000, so you'd still be ahead. Plus, your mattress might catch fire. Then what?
Man, those banks and credit unions are looking good right about now.
Visit the DIC's website at www.dic.bs. Protection for your money, guaranteed with DIC.
A lot of folks are wondering, what is the Agrarian Awards? It's an award show to celebrate the people who produce the food that feeds the country. So September 16th, we're giving out trophies and money to young farmers, backyard farmers, sheep runners, goat herders, pea pickers, onion planters. Basically, everyone. But we couldn't fit all that on the invite, so we put Agrarian Awards instead. Go to adobahamas.org to find out how to nominate your favorite agrarian. The Agrarian Awards, September 16th.
The Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center is here to help small businesses throughout the entire Bahamas. To better serve you, we've made it easier to contact us. Call 461-7232, WhatsApp 359-0626 or 359-2394, email helpdesk@spdcbahamas.com, or submit a ticket when you visit our help center at accessaccelerator.org. The Access Accelerator, empowering small business.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Guardian Radio and the Foundation are on the move.
Bahamas, this one's for you.
SBT, Small Business Thursdays. Every Thursday, the Foundation with Howard Grant will highlight small businesses throughout the country, far and wide. Your products, services, prices, and personality. We want to hear it all. Get your 30 or 60-second advertisement heard on air at a fraction of the cost. We here at the Foundation understand the times and don't want you to be left behind. With Guardian Radio, you reach your specific demographic, and it is unmatched.
We reach thousands daily.
Get your products off the shelf and your services in their hearts. Small Business Thursdays with the Foundation, only on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. For more information, call 302-2300 or the Help Me Howard line at 827-0111. SBT. Small Business Thursdays. Get your business moving today.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Foundation. Foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant in your company, the Foundation, on this beautiful, beautiful Wednesday afternoon. A little overcast out there, but we're still living and giving praise in this time in the season. I'm sitting with my and I'm sitting with my very good friend, Garth Roseborough, being able to chop these things down today. Garth, I love the sort of the avenue that you were taking, talking about Pop Simonet, talking about being able to be industrious and finding a way for himself to accumulate sort of a coffers within his family up to $2 billion, but some information just came through. You got to forgive me. As this is a live show, and we're dealing with day-to-day issues in this country, more specifically now to do with immigration. An issue that continues to be able to bubble to the surface relentlessly. This is the proverbial ivory soap of issues in this country. It always comes to the front. We have seen those in Abaco continue to try to sweep it under the rug, and then it popped to the front with the hurricane. Talk to me. As a result of this relentless, perpetual issue that continues to expand from one generation into another, there's always pressure on this. Most recently, you'd be able to see something, guys. I don't know if you got this, but I just got this, and I want to be able to read this and touch this just for 2 seconds. You got to give me some time. You got to give me time. Ministry of Labor and Immigration just released this information. Immediate release, July 26, 2023. This is a press statement from the Ministry of Labor and Immigration on the detailed clarification on questions raised by the leader of the opposition on immigration matters. This is the information that comes through. So it says that the Ministry of Labor and Immigration wishes to address the concerns and questions recently raised by the leader of the opposition regarding various immigration matters. In the interest of protecting individuals' privacy and preventing political liabilities, specific names will not be disclosed. We caution those who have put individual names into the public domain that breaches of rights to privacy may give rise to legal liability. Each immigration case is unique and handled on a case-by-case basis, taking into consideration the specific circumstances and information available at the time. Firstly, a case was raised regarding a work permit that had expired, which led to the arrest and detention. We want to clarify that the arrest and detention report was uploaded on the same day the renewal application was enrolled. This is wild. This is wild. This is okay. Let's just read it. Okay. Despite the outstanding fees, the renewal was approved. Factors were taken into consideration, including the individual's long-term residence in the Bahamas. Watch this. Watch this. The impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. This is wild. The lack of salary during the period of the pandemic. The discretion was exercised in line with the practices. Watch this. Watch this. The discretion was exercised in line with the practices of previous administrations under similar circumstances. Absolutely bananas. I just want to say this. Let's read it. In the second case, an individual was reportedly approved for a permit while detained at the detention center. We can confirm at the time the decision was made, no information regarding the arrest or deportation was on file or in the system. Consequently, the minister granted the approval without any contradictory information that might have otherwise affected the decision. The third case mentioned involved an individual intercepted on a boat attempting to smuggle into the United States of America. The individual was charged, convicted, and restricted. The Ministry of Labor and Immigration would like to clarify that this individual's work permit was denied 3 times and was never approved. In the fourth case, contrary to claims, the applicant was never detained. In fact, the individual held valid permits from 2015, renewed annually, and valid until 2023. The fifth case involved an arrest for overstaying, which subsequently led to the deportation. Despite the allegation, there was no arrest or detainee report on file or within our system for the individual. In the case raised involving the permit to reside, despite claims that there was an approval after a conviction or overstaying a scheduled deportation, we found no document on file or within the system to indicate that this individual was convicted in court. This is absolutely bananas. On a more general note, several concerns were raised about the approval process from permits. It is important to note that the current practice at the Department of Immigration does not require employers to submit financial information. Therefore, It is challenging to accurately determine employees' ability to sustain employment. In respect to the claim that approvals were granted within the interviews being conducted or unsupported by popular documentation, we consider the instances of such cases are highly unlikely, given the stringent checks and balances in place. However, we urge the leader of the opposition to provide specific instances for further investigation. The approval of the applications made while an applicant is detained at the detention center is not illegal. There have been many occasions where individuals have been arrested while an application for approval is pending. In respect to the claim that approvals have been granted to employers who, after investigation, stated that they did not submit the applications, our records confirm that there have been incidents where work permits were approved without consultation with the director or minister. Upon receiving complaints from the employers, these matters have been promptly addressed. In respect to the claims that multiple work permits have been issued to individuals deemed as facilitators, our administration has been working diligently to curb this activity. We continue to monitor and take the necessary action. It is open to everyone to report wrongdoing wherever found. And so the leader of the opposition is welcome to provide any evidence that he has for instances where approval have been granted to unqualified applicants or employees. In situations where detainees were ordered to be released, we urge the leader of the opposition to provide specific examples. This is wild. On the matter of citizenship, it is important to note that there are categories under the Nationality Act that allow individuals to be sworn in without renouncing other citizenships. Bananas. Let's go. Regarding the issues involving the Chinese nationals, we confirm that the workers were in the country legally. Whoa. The workers were in the country legally. Their employers were in the process of applying for their work permits. To avoid disruption to the major ongoing construction project on which they were working, it was considered futile to detain them overnight. The issue was promptly corrected the following day. Concerning the questions put forward to the former Prime Minister about the specific citizenship application, we clarify that. At the time in question, the minister was, in fact, in Miami, not in Switzerland, as previously stated in error. The questions which have not been answered directly by the above, did not raise anything of substance. We remain committed to transparency, due process, and to the rule of law in all immigration matters. We remain committed to maintaining an immigration system that is efficient and fair and respects the rights and dignity of all individuals. Here ends the reading. This is absolutely bananas. Let's take a quick commercial break and be right back after this.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation.
The Foundation. We'll be back right after this.
The foundation. The foundation. The foundation. The foundation.
Always on the go? Missed the show? You can now listen to Guardian Radio talk shows anytime, anywhere on Spotify and YouTube by searching Guardian Radio 96.9 FM or by entering the name of your favorite show. You can also listen by logging on to GuardianTalkRadio.com and clicking on the podcast tab. Guardian Radio, continuing to provide you with fresh news and smart talk anywhere, anytime, all day.
Collect, the Bear of the Bahamas has given you 5,000 more reasons to be proud to be 50. Just purchase a 3-pack of Collect at participating liquor stores and bars for your chance to be one of our 5 lucky $1,000 winners. Winners will be announced every Friday starting June 9th. Collect's 5K giveaway to celebrate 50 years of independence is officially on. Just purchase 3 Collect for your chance to be one of 5 $1,000 winners. Follow Collect on social media for more details. Collect, the Bear of the Bahamas. Drink responsibly, but
at Ron's Electric Motors, they repair and rewind all major brands of electric motors, including water pumps, generators, and the generator's back end, welding machines, electric lifts, air compressors, battery chargers, and more. They're equipped to handle up to 850 kilowatts and rewind up to 450 horsepower motors. They're conveniently located on the corner of Wolf and Clarence Roads and are open weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays till noon. They offer 24 hours emergency assistance. You can reach them at 242-356-0249.
Are you dreaming of the perfect summer getaway? Apply for a debt consolidation or personal loan to win an airline ticket to Paris, Miami, or New York. Win up to $2,500 in cash and more. For details, call 356-7764 for Nassau, 602-6811 for Freeport, 823-4374 for Abaco.
The Bahamas Public Parks and Public Beaches Authority invites all private companies and civic organizations to adopt a roundabout. This is your chance to stand out from the crowd, beautify and enhance our local areas for residents and tourists alike, just in time for the 50th anniversary of our independence. With this opportunity, you can engage persons on the go, generate media interest, and promote your company. Stand out and celebrate 50. For more information, you can call 242-604-3750.
Guardian Radio and the Foundation are on the move.
Bahamas, this one's for you.
SBT, Small Business Thursdays. Every Thursday, the Foundation with Howard Grant will highlight small businesses throughout the country, far and wide. Your products, services, prices, and personality. We want to hear it all. Get your 30 or 60-second advertisement heard on air at a fraction of the cost. We here at the Foundation understand the times and don't want you to be left behind. With Guardian Radio, you reach your specific demographic and it is unmatched.
We reach thousands daily.
Get your products off the shelf and your services in their hearts. Small Business Thursdays with the Foundation, only on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. For more information, call 302-2300 or the Help Me Howard line at 827-0111. SBT, Small Business Thursdays. Get your business moving today.
Beulah, gal, can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood.
We now large and in charge. So we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too?
Of course we can.
But we could be in deep trouble if they find out.
We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami.
So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles.
Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal.
So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's your time.
Collect, the Bear of the Bahamas has given you 5,000 more reasons to be proud to be 50. Just purchase a 3-pack of Collect at participating liquor stores and bars for your chance to be one of our 5 lucky $1,000 winners. Winners will be announced every Friday starting June 9th. Collect's 5K giveaway to celebrate 50 years of independence is officially on. Just purchase 3 Collect for your chance to be one of 5 $1,000 winners. Follow Collect on social media for more details. Collect, the Bear of the Bahamas. Drink responsibly, but
At Ron's Electric Motors, they repair and rewind all major brands of electric motors, including water pumps, generators and the generator's back end, welding machines, electric lifts, air compressors, battery chargers, and more. They're equipped to handle up to 850 kilowatts and rewind up to 450 horsepower motors. They're conveniently located on the corner of Wolf and Clarence Roads and are open weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays till noon. They offer 24 hours emergency assistance. You can reach them at 242-356-0249.
Always on the go? Missed the show? You can now listen to Guardian Radio talk shows anytime, anywhere on Spotify and YouTube by searching Guardian Radio 96.9 FM or by entering the name of your favorite show. You can also listen by logging on to GuardianTalkRadio.com and clicking on the podcast tab. Guardian Radio, continuing to provide you with fresh news and smart talk anywhere, anytime, all day.
Are you dreaming of the perfect summer getaway? Apply for a debt consolidation or personal loan to win an airline ticket to Paris, Miami, or New York. Win up to $2,500 in cash and more. For details, call 356-7764 for Nassau, 602-6811 for Freeport, 823-4374 for Abaco.
At a time when jobs are hard to find, crime is a concern, and Bahamians are uncertain about the future of the country, there is one paper you can rely on as your source of news and commentary. The Nassau Guardian delves deeper into the issues. We ask the tough questions. We tell your stories. If you haven't already, pick up a copy today. The Nassau Guardian. News and views that matter since 1844.
The new Guardian Radio app is here. Listen live to all our Guardian Radio shows and live video stream select programs in our studio. Get information about Guardian Radio shows and our hosts. Send messages, including text, email, and even call. All from our amazing new Guardian Radio app. Download it free today in your App Store for your Apple device or Play Store for your Android device. The all-new and improved Guardian Radio app.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation. Foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, 96.9 FM radio, live and in full effect. The Foundation on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon, a little overcast, but we're doing our thing. Sitting in the studio with Garth Roseborough, being able to chop it down. The lines are wide open. We got to do this in decency and order today. We can chop this thing down. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, anywhere from the family of Islands, 242-300. 5720. Hit me up 422-4796. The thing is absolutely bananas. Y'all need to stop it, man. I'm sick and tired of this back and forth. Didn't I tell you that this is the nature of politics? In the written release, and what's just peculiar about this release is that I didn't see any name, any date, any this, any that. I saw the date, I saw immigration department, so forth and so on. But there is a way that you kind of, tie it off together, right? So you tie it off and you say, who wrote this letter? You sign off, so forth and so on. None of this information's out there. Now, there's no question to believe the status, but it seems like it was written in a hurry. Right? Not in a bad way. I'm reading the thing. And in the midst of what's been released, Garth, I just want to be as decent as possible. Right? In the midst of what's been released, in the spirit of being able to read this with decency and order on our side, right? We got to do this. We got to do it like this. I tried to pull it up again because I thought it was peculiar how it happened. Right? Go ahead, Garth.
You do understand that. Even in that statement, number one, a number of people just don't read. Many of our people just refuse to read. Some cannot read. Some find reading too laborious. And so hearing it through the radio waves or through television media, it gives them a access to what was just being said. Now, to fully understand what was said, that comes through media personalities like yourself, Howard Grant. And so this is why the narrative of radio and television in this country is so powerful. It's because our people never really take the time to really read and to understand.
That could be a two-edged sword, though, because
it is a two-edged sword.
There could be people who has their own agenda to fortify a particular position from a political standpoint.
This is what is happening. This
Okay,
is
talk to
exactly
me.
what I'm
Let's just-
speaking
just
to.
shoot straight with the thing.
This is what I'm speaking about.
Go ahead, let me hear it.
And so be mindful that as you go ahead and elaborate on such, and other media personalities will do so as well, it is nothing short of political. It's one man's view versus another man or woman, if you so please. And so we have seen this bantering back and forth between the two parties, the PLP, the FLM, the PLP, FLM. Oh, no. Like when I was a young child, you say, oh, you black, no, you black, no, you black, and then black, all you black. But to us was really black. We just black. But we always felt as if someone was worse off than we were, and we wanted the world to know that they were worse off than we were. But the truth be matter is that both of us were in a bad state. That's just the way it is.
Hold on. I don't know whether or not that was a great analogy. Like, that black is a perpetually bad state? That is wild that you said that, sir. I just want to put that there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Gently rest it there. And you go ahead. Go ahead. I'm not going to fight you. Go ahead.
Before that narrative came to your telephone, here's what I was saying to you. It doesn't matter your race, your color, your creed when it comes to the Bahamas. This country is one that is rich with opportunity. I'm talking about economic opportunity. Pop Simonet was a teacher. He did not find that lucrative, and so he left teaching. He went to be a tomato farmer and a fisherman in Florida. That did not work out, but he found something that was going to make him wealthy, which was the fact that there was a prohibition, but the Bahamas afforded him an opportunity to meet a need that America had. And this is where the wealth began. This is where he began to diversify himself. And at the age of 26, thereabout, he became a politician. Once again, another opportunity. So when we look at PLP and FLM in this country, we've seen people who have come in at the level of a teacher or a tomato farmer or a fisherman, and by the time their political careers are over, they are wealthy.
I can pull this together right now for you. Your conversation is about supply and demand, okay? You could supply certain convictions, disposition, when you see that there is a void. There's a demand. There was a demand for rum, quietly or otherwise. We understood what we needed to do from a biblical standpoint to be in line with our faith in God, so forth and so on, but we need a drink. That's just what it is. And because of that unspoken demand that continues to bubble to the surface, you just have to supply it. Okay.
And a wise man will supply.
Okay.
So we've had people in our history who have supplied the demand.
Okay.
We have foreigners coming into this country now who are now supplying the demand. Who owns the liquor stores now? I'm not calling any nationalities, but you know who they are.
You mean the Chinese?
You know, you have people who are supplying the maid services and the butler services in Lyford Key and other such communities. They're not you, but there are other people. You know, in terms of the women that I want to be careful how I say this now, that make themselves available for services. They're coming in from other countries into this country because there's a demand. Okay, but there's
at the top of the top of the paper today, you said that the country lacks leadership.
So
there's been a void in leadership.
So there's now a void, and there should now be a demand for leadership. But what we have done is
but people don't even understand what leadership looks like anymore. Once you're articulate and maybe you're light skinned, they say, "Oh, maybe God, you could work, you know. Let's see if we can shovel you in there." And that's what it is. And that is a lack of conviction. And these men are pliable to the position of any political organization. Many of them, not all. I can't put all in the bucket, but many of them are pliable and almost they bend and they shape shift to accommodate the ideas and the traditions of the parties that exist. That's just what it is. That's not leadership.
That's not leadership.
That's not leadership.
So now let's look at the global scale then, Mr. Howard Grant. When our leader goes out into the international community, I'm going to ask you a question, Mr. Howard Grant. Who knows them? You just became the Prime Minister. Any one of us tomorrow, who knows us in the international community? Who's prepared to do business with us? Who's prepared to trust us and to assure us that they're going to ensure that my country progresses and makes billions of dollars to come out of the red and become into the green and become a wealthy nation? Who's going to trust Garth Roseborough to do that, or Howard Grant to do that, or any of the new politicians to do that? Let me hear this.
Now, you see,
how does that work?
A lot of people associate, guys, and I see your telephone calls, we can get to that. A lot of people associate this sort of an idea of individualism when you step into leadership. You're no longer an individual. You are sent to these particular locations on the ticket of the Bahamian people.
Okay.
The credibility doesn't exist within your chest, within your belly. The credibility exists within the flag, the strength of the flag, that black part, the aquamarine, the gold part. That is where the credibility exists in international environments. When you step up from an official standpoint and the government of the Bahamas and the people of the Bahamas send you, there's an expectation that you carry out the rules, regulations, laws, and disposition of the Bahamian people.
So Lyndon was strong.
Okay.
You would say he was strong internationally.
Yeah.
The flag meant something internationally. When they saw Sir Lyndon, he was like, what, the third most powerful prime minister in the world?
But Sir Lyndon also introduced the flag. So that's, watch me. The introduction of the Bahamian flag was synonymous with the introduction of Sir Lyndon Pinlin in this particular position, or black leadership in this position.
Black leadership.
Black leadership in this position. So when you saw the Bahamian flag, you knew it had to do with the strength of the leader. Now watch me. Let's just be very clear about this. Hypothetically, let's just say hypothetically, if our country was in a state of perpetual disarray, right? If we was in this sort of a disarray and there was corruption being said here, and there was simultaneously this introduction of the flag, it had no strength. It had no strength. You understand? We acknowledge it, we accept it in our capacity of protocol universally in the UN, but your flag has no strength. We view you as corrupt. So you still can't get nothing done the way that you want done.
Okay.
But that's not what's happening here. What's happening here is that the introduction of the flag, and when you stand in these international spaces, there's strength behind the Bahamian flag because we are accountable people. We are transparent people. We are people who do things above board. We are the people who identify these things and rectify it. But I'm saying to you, that's not what we're seeing here. That's where the lack of leadership comes in. This is a lack of leadership. The lack of leadership is a lack of conviction. It's not a lack of education. It's not a lack of exposure. It's a lack of conviction. It's a lack of being able to stand and speak truth to power. Let me take a telephone call.
Yeah, we must.
Let me take a telephone call. Caller, you on the line with us live. Go ahead. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, I got 2 points.
Go ahead.
That letter that you read off, right? That reminds me of a certain chairman of a political party that is always condescending to people, to Bahamians, when they speak, as if we're dumb and stupid. You guys talked about supply and demand, but here's the thing, though. There's a great demand for cheap labor in this country, you know, and there are people in government who are supplying the work permits that is required for these persons to come in to work with cheap labor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with the work permit thing, they passed a law where if you want to apply for work permit, you had to be outside the country, wait for that work permit to be approved before you're allowed in, right?
But the letter goes contrary to that.
Well, the letter goes contrary to the law.
Yeah.
So again,
the letter said, and guess what? They actually gave you the backdrop. They said that this is a line that we've crossed, that we've traveled. And in the first paragraph, we have traveled this based upon the protocols set by previous administrations.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is absolutely bananas to me.
So the point we're looking at right now is there is no law in this country, because if you have the persons in power who create laws and the laws don't apply to them, then what's the point of even writing laws? Now, the other part I want to talk about is they made mention about citizenship. The last time I checked, if you are a non-citizen of this country, you have to renounce the citizenship that you were born with before you can actually attain Bahamian citizenship. According to the Constitution, am I correct?
Absolutely.
Or am I wrong?
You have to reject to
exactly.
accept.
So what the hell are they talking about in that letter?
That's what the letter say. I only read the letter. You hear me giving my caveats. This is bananas.
All right, I'm with it.
Thank you, my brother. I do appreciate your telephone call. Next caller on the line. Caller on the line with us live. Go ahead.
Howard and guys, good afternoon.
Hey, what's up, Jeff?
Let me just touch on to the previous caller. You know, he's spot on with his two viewpoints. And, you know, it really baffles the mind when, as he so rightfully said, what is good? What is it good to write laws when you supersede the same laws that you are writing and acting as if, you know, it's like you didn't write them in the essence that you wrote them in the first place. My thing is with this whole debacle is that we have persons who are knowingly and willingly breaching these protocols that they put in place and then acting as if we, as so many persons refer to Bahamians as counts, that we don't see what you're actually doing. You know, it's a double standard in this country, and it's not going to change until the people demand the change. Now, he touched on something that really cost me the call, and that was the supply and demand of cheap labor in this country. But also on the flip side, there is also a demand for Bahamians to be hired in this country. And whenever you see that the disparity...
Hold on, Jeff. Don't go nowhere. Just pause right there.
Yeah.
My mother say, stick a pin right there. Okay, so you stick a pin right there. Let me say this to you. I disagree with you. There is not a demand. There is a desire, but not a demand. Bahamian people are not up in arms for the opportunities. There is an expectation. There is a desire, but not a demand. The closest we get to a demand, when people start to demand, our place to convene for demands is where? Rawson Square. 878 degrees weather, we are there demanding transition and the liberation.
Howard, and I agree with you to that extent, okay? But we all see that marching Rawson Square, honestly and seriously, because I've participated in so many of them. And I'm going to tell you, marching now today has very little to no effect on the governance of this country. Why I say that? Because the government don't feel as if they're not even being pressured. Neither are they feel inclined to do the will of the people. Because if that was the case, we would have had a lot of positive results already for a lot of the marching that we have done. Wow. I'll tell you, there's also that era of marching has actually gone out the window now with the last big march that we had that was very poignant.
You mean when we march?
And that was the We March.
But when we march.
And the We March,
was right there
what they did with the We March, they have sabotaged every other march that comes after that march.
But you can't beat everybody with the
nobody's going to take any march seriously in this country because of the outcome of that march.
But you can't beat everybody with the same switch.
Well, hey, it's not me beating everybody with the same stick, but that is the perception out here. Who benefited from the last We March?
Nobody.
Okay, no. That's a lie.
Henfield didn't benefit.
He didn't benefit.
He didn't benefit.
Come on, he didn't benefit. Come on, Howard. That everybody, if you talk to anybody out here who have any bearing on that march,
he thought he would have benefited, but
they would tell you straight up that was a political move for certain persons.
And he didn't even run? He didn't even run?
No, he didn't have to run, but did he benefit from it? But did he benefit? Come on, let's be serious.
Let's talk about this.
Don't just take my word for it. Go out there and ask anybody out there who they feel benefited from that march, from the outcome, because the outcome was on the steady line that they were on. Had they held the rope and continued along the original plan, maybe our politicians in Parliament would have been listening today.
I appreciate
but the mere fact that even right now with this current administration picking off the fourth estate, nobody's taking nobody serious anymore. The fourth estate, even in a sense, lost its power.
Wild.
Okay, and I'm being straight up. Let's call it for what it is.
Wild.
Anytime you can remove the pundits who held the government feet to the fire,
but you keep saying
them out on things that they were doing wrong,
you keep saying
remove them from that point and actually silence them, because that's the general perception out there in the public. The fourth estate is silent on a whole lot of stuff where they should have been holding this government accountable.
I won't be decent.
That's not happening.
I appreciate you, Jeff. I won't be decent. You keep saying remove. Everyone keeps saying remove. First and foremost, I talked about the fact that this is a democracy. Access and opportunities exist here for people to take advantage of that. You choose. When Hansel and Gretel went into the bush, no one shoved the candy in their mouth. They chose. That's only my point. Out of desperation and hunger, so forth and so on, these things happen. And I don't like to displace myself from the reality that exists in our space. I don't want to do that. And you know that about me. I don't want to displace and separate myself from the reality that exists in this country. We're wilding out. Let's talk like this. Let me take the next telephone call. Call on the line with us live. Go ahead. No? Guys, you know the number, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, anywhere for the family violence, 242-300, 5720, or 422-4796. Let me read a text here. It says, here is a summary of the Bahamas, of our Bahamas. This should be our motto. We are a land of law that is not enforced. That's wild. That is absolutely wild, my brother. There is an idea of a semblance, right? A form, but no substance. We're talking today, and I want to talk. We touch leadership. We touch these concepts and avenues. Even in the release from the Department of Immigration is lathered in politics. I told you that there are simultaneously two conversations that happen in this country. One is a conversation. Did people try to kill me about this on Monday? They like to murder me and call me and tell me, obviously, I tried to get on a ticket with the PLP. That's what they're texting me. Wild. Simply because I said, one, I agree with the concept and idea that Keith Bell needs to be held accountable by the rules and regulations in this land. That's one. I believe that he has to. If there's gone something contrary, he needs to be held to account. That there should not be a different rule for him based upon his position. That's one. I said that. I said, but to come into the newspaper, into the public setting, and write articles and call into the show and say that Keith Bell is going to be the detriment of the PLP, I disagree with you. That's a political conversation. That is a political conversation. Howard, why would you say that you disagree? Well, let me read it. Let me read for you why I disagree politically that Keith Bell would be an issue for the PLP. Let me read it in the papers today. Let's go. In the Tribune today, Mitchell tells Bell not to respond to immigration. Hold on, let's go deeper. Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell said he told Immigration Minister Keith Bell not to respond to recent immigration controversies because it would not be beneficial to do so. Hold on now. Who's saying this? See, stop it. Stop. Pause. We talked about this. Talked about being able to take a panoramic view of our position. Who is saying this? Who's releasing this information? Is it the minister? There's three people. Three different capacities is coming out of Fred Mitchell's mouth as he speaks this. His seniority in politics and understanding of this, that's one. His position, watch me, his position as the chairman of the PLP, that's two. And three, his ministerial capacity and seniority, even in that position. He says it would not be beneficial for you to speak on this particular thing. Three things, three capacities coming out of one man's mouth who says to you, this ain't beneficial to you. It says it will not be beneficial to do so. No one understands that this is three different conversations happening in this country. This is two different conversations, happening in this country. There is a conversation of the rule of law that exists here, and then there's a conversation that the PLP is going to be the PLP's detriment. I don't necessarily believe that. The only detriment could be is the fact that the Bahamian people decide to vote against, just like they've done in previous elections, the government of the day. Not that this particular instance will be anything. When you put Sheen Gibson, former minister, in this particular capacity and see all these things, was it the detriment of the PLP? I don't agree with that. The only detriment was that the prime minister lacked the conviction to be able to move the country in the direction that we desired. Come on, man. Why are we having what kind of fake conversation we talking about?
This is exactly what I'm trying to get to today. You see, this whole conversation with immigration and all the other issues goes right back to leadership. It goes back to the root of our situation. I believe the Bahamian people, as you said, who vote against governments, that has not proven to be very effective or profitable for this country. As I look at the Bahamas today, this is how I felt about us yesterday. I know some athletes just returned with some medals. I want to say congratulations to them for the medals that they received competing athletically. But throughout the region, the Bahamas has become like one of them in the Caribbean. I recall as a young man, when you said you were from the Bahamas, you were the jewel of the Caribbean basin. Now, there are a lot of Bahamians that still feel that way. But for those of us who remember the heydays, man, the things I'm looking around in this country in terms of its appearance, in terms of the issues that we're facing, in terms of lackluster leadership, in terms of lackluster opposition, it seems to be just a big ball of confusion right now. And if you ask the average person on the street, what are we going to do? Honest to good, we don't know. We just don't know. We're almost like a lost people at this particular stage. I feel kind of sad at this particular moment, just listening to all of this. If you notice me in the studio today, I'm out of it now.
But when the people of Israel wanted a king, who they cry out to?
Well, God sent Moses.
Okay, now talk to me.
God sent Moses.
Watch me.
But listen to here's our problem with sending of Moses, though. When God sends a man, it's not the type of man that we're looking for.
No. When the children of Israel recognized that there were kings all around in various kingdoms, and they said that we wanted a king, and God said that I am your king.
Yeah, he said he's a suzerain.
And they said that I am your king. This is no, but we still want a king.
Yeah, they want.
Yeah, we want to look like everybody else. We want a king. God said, I'll send you a king. Now the fella gonna rape and pillage you all and do this and do that the next thing. They said, all right, we can deal with that when the time comes. But send us a king anyhow. I surmise the thing. Now my point to you is that there was a cry out, a unified voice unto God. Ain't nobody crying out for this. Ain't nobody crying out for leadership. They crying out to leaders. You ain't crying out to supremacy.
I think
there is a disconnect socially as it relates to where you identify an opportunity to come to find the kind of leadership to lead this country in. Man, listen to me. Let me take this next telephone call because, I'm getting hot today under the collar.
I see you hot. That's why I just go ahead and steam off.
Let's go, caller. Caller, you're on the line with us live. Go ahead.
Good evening. How are you guys doing?
Good, man. What's happening?
Malcolm X once said that the media is the most powerful entity on earth.
Mm-hmm.
They have the power to make the innocent guilty and make the guilty innocent. The media has the power to influence minds, ideas, behaviors, and attitudes of the masses.
Malcolm X was wrong. He meant the CIA. He didn't mean the media.
Are you suggesting that the media...
No. Malcolm X meant the CIA, based upon information that has been released recently.
I'm applying to this particular subject right here in terms of the media having the ability to influence minds. Do you agree or don't agree to that point?
I don't know. Well, I agree with you to a degree.
So I'm simply saying that for the state is indeed important, and
of
to downplay that in the Bahamas, in the small country, is to me it's not wise, because if you're going to think about what Clint Watson did in the last administration, he was needed as relates to the for the state. That particular party feet to the fire, and what people are saying, or the perception is, there's no one here in the media doing it for this particular administration for whatever reason, whatever reason why they're not doing it. It appears that if you listen to the talking heads, like I say on the radios or talk shows now, there's no one truly. What I've seen, I don't, when I do listen, it appears that there's no one, like everybody's like almost trying to get in favor. And I can't knock you. Everybody got bills, so I can't knock anyone for that. But it appears that we need a Clint Watson for this particular administration. If you tuned in to that particular radio station or TV station, every other evening he would take that particular administration to task. I don't know if you guys remember that, but he did. And my last point is, final point is, I'm afraid when it comes to the whistleblowers, it is almost like that particular thing you read. It's almost like it's a threat or indirect threat to anyone who may leak anything or say anything. They may get victimized. Why why no one's pushing for what it was, the whistleblower. I can't remember what it was.
Whistleblower's Act.
No, listen. The reason why that last administration was able to get out of the play because people was leaking all kind of information. No, it seems that Mr. Mitchell or that thing you read is almost like an indirect threat, like subordination and whatever. Listen, we need someone to speak up, who have a platform to speak up. Everybody can't be agreeing. We need an opposition, a real opposition. In the fourth estate, I'm going right now. The fourth estate to me is vitally important.
I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you so much for your telephone call. I appreciate what he said. I want to touch a couple things what you said. I want to stretch it out far and wide. And I can take this commercial break before I do that, but I want to touch this. I got to touch this for you. When you start to take this kind of position and talk about the fourth estate, I never, like I said, I don't displace myself from the community that I live in. I live here. All of us live here. Every one of us right now. How much for milk? Boom. We all know. $20, $1,000 milk. Going back to cream. All of us know the exact same thing. A lot of us in this position that is presumed to be comfortable. You presume these people because they're riding soft. They look like they got their bills. They look like the house is beautiful, so forth and so on. The fellas come in, they cut their yard every week. You presume that people are living in a particular manner, but all of us are living here. And just like the opening statement from this particular position, a lot of people are still trying to rally themselves from COVID-19. A lot of persons have lost their savings, and this ain't no excuse for nobody, but my point to you is that the allegiance that people have committed themselves to is to ensure, a great deal of people, I can't put everybody in the same bucket, is to ensure that financially they could take care of their families, which means important. It means a lot to them. When you sit here in this particular space, you don't know how we make our money. You don't. This ain't my defense for these people. I don't know why they made the decisions. You don't know how any of these men and women make their money. I just want to be as decent as possible when I say this. When a man makes a decision, he's a man. Unless there is an allegiance directly to these particular people, unless there is the direct support from the people to these particular pundits and this person that you call in, Clint Watson, so forth and so on, in the outcome, we saw that Clint Watson's allegiance was based upon his alliance. Are you aligned with anybody? Or are you just tuning in casually? Let's just be shooting straight with this thing. I want to be decent with this, and I want to be able to speak with this level of transparency. Please, we have the responsibility to govern ourselves in this matter. The airwaves are open for you to be able to have conversations, and political organizations, the Office of the Prime Minister and others are listening to you right now. I find nobody like this. All you got to do is say your piece. You ain't got to lambaste nobody for that. Let me take this quick commercial break and be right back after this.
Marco's Pizza, we never skip on quality or ingredients. Save some cash and satisfy your cravings with our new carry-out medium 2-topping pizza for only $12.50. That's right, order 2 of your favorite toppings like sausage and green peppers on 1 medium pizza for only $12.50. VAT inclusive on our app or online. Made daily with fresh dough, our signature sauce, and fresh cheese. Only at Marco's Pizza. Restrictions apply.
At Alive, we believe that every common loftier goal is within our reach. We believe in the essence of our identity, the richness of our history, and the boundless potential that lies within us. That's why our network is built by, owned by, and managed by us. Alive, believe in Bahamians. Visit BeAlive.com to take advantage of our golden independence deals. Alive, believe in best.
Collect. The Bear of the Bahamas has given you 5,000 more reasons to be proud to be 50. Just purchase a 3-pack of Collect at participating liquor stores and bars for your chance to be one of our 5 lucky $1,000 winners. Winners will be announced every Friday starting June 9th. Collect's 5K giveaway to celebrate 50 years of independence is officially on. Just purchase 3 Collect for your chance to be one of 5 $1,000 winners. Follow Collect on social media for more details. Collect, the Bear of the Bahamas. Drink responsibly, babe.
You've tried everything. ASUS, with your mother's cousin's sister's auntie, and even hiding your money under your mattress. But is your money safe? Your Bahamian dollar deposit in a member bank or credit union is insured up to $50,000. If anything happens, your deposit up to the insured value will be returned to you thanks to Deposit Insurance. Visit Deposit Insurance Corporation at www.dic.bs.
Protection for your money guaranteed with DIC.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Come celebrate Independence the BK way with our new Independence King Combo. Enjoy a flame grilled beef patty topped with savory bacon, arugula, crisp onion rings, and our special tropical sauce on a brioche bun. Served with fries and a drink for a flavor sensation fit to celebrate every year. Top off the Independence celebrations with our new Guava Sundae or frozen guava lemonade. Our Independence King Combo and treats are available for a limited time at Burger King Nassau, where taste is king.
At Ron's Electric Motors, they repair and rewind all major brands of electric motors, including water pumps, generators and the generator's back end, welding machines, electric lifts, air compressors, battery chargers, and more. They're equipped to handle up to 850 kilowatts and rewind up to 450 horsepower motors. They're conveniently located on the corner of Wolf and Clarence Roads and are open weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays till noon. They offer 24 hours emergency assistance. You can reach them at 242-356-0249.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation. 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 The foundation. The foundation.
And we are back. Excuse me. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant and your company, The Foundation. Today is Caliente. Caliente. Suavemente, por favor. This is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. We're out here and having conversation. And I don't know if you're baffled. Make sure you pick up the information and kind of just read it out. I don't know if you're one of these WhatsApp groups that get all the information out there. But we're having a conversation. I can see you guys want to be able to be a part of it. The numbers are here. I'm in the studio with Garth. The number is 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Anywhere from the Family Violence, 242-300-5720, 422-4796. Call on the line with us live. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Everything cool, that's Howard.
Hey, what's up, Papa?
Everything cool, that's Scott in there?
Yeah, man, he radio with me.
Hey, Mr. Scott.
Hey.
We need something new, man. Need to try something different. I know you full of ideas. What you hearing the people saying, man? Because I wondering if I the only one feel this way. This PLP and FM thing, it kind of sure. And keep doing the same thing over and over, having faith, believe, like, these people could, like, show some respect. For instance, I listening to, someone read to me in the papers that what Fred Mitchell had to say, and plus I hear him on the WhatsApp thing. And I say to myself, he calling the COI people, or the people who gather with them, a bunch of idiots. I don't think that's fair. Calling the director, I think it was a little funny little name he say there about the director. I know people say don't get it personal and there's politics and all that, but it's all about respect too. Mm-hmm. Same way he hold a position, we respect the office he hold. He need to respect us as the people. I listen to him talking, making it sound like it's a non-issue. And people are making it sound like an issue, like this just was the opposition making noise. No, this was the citizen of the Bahamas crying out on behalf of the officials at immigration. You can imagine ministers or politicians interfering in the business of an important ministry like immigration, and now they're making it sound like it's a small issue. Like they ready to sweep this underneath the rug. You mightn't agree with me, Howard, but I mean, actions speak louder than words. They saying one thing and doing the other. Minister Bell promised to, say something in Parliament. I was listening all morning. I don't know if I missed it. I think he sent a statement out or something like that. It's like they don't respect the Bahamian people. They don't even respect the office they hold. I don't know if they respect themselves. It's like they shameless. And for the Prime Minister to come back and talk about investigation and all of that, well, what the whole up is Fire Keith Bell, Prime Minister Bell. He don't need to be in that cabinet right now. You're disgracing. It's like a national disgrace on the Bahamas.
Papa, I can tell you, like Pice Willis say, you as a senior man out here, you know better than that.
Know better than what?
You know better than the perception. See, it's one thing to have a casual conversation about what you think should happen based upon the rule of law. But it's another thing to have a very clear understanding of how the culture of politics happens in our country.
But why we can keep allowing this thing?
Because you keep voting for the people, Papa.
Yeah, you could throw that on me.
You keep voting for the people.
I vote for Fred.
I ain't just talking for no one political organization.
The Bahamian people didn't sign up for this, though, Howard. We'd expect different.
The Bahamian people didn't sign up for this in 2002. They didn't sign up for it in 2007.
Howard,
they didn't sign up for it in 2012.
And two wrongs don't make a right. We need to. That's why I asked this. I asked Scott inside there. See, Scott, we need to try something different. Yeah. It's like no respect for law and order. Like one law for you, one law for me. Come on, man. Because y'all do it. We reminding y'all what y'all do so we can get away with it.
Papa, in the statement released from the Ministry of Immigration, they state the exact same thing. Based upon regulations and based upon a precedent that was set by a former administration. That's what they say.
That's wrong.
That's just what it is. This is what we are dealing with in this country. And I said that there is a desire, but not a demand. There's no demand. I appreciate you, Papa. I got to let you go. There is a desire, but no demand. Talk to me.
Yeah, today I wanted to... all of this is a part of it. I wanted to build to a narrative. I'm not able to do it today. We're running out of time. So if those who are going to call in, you can call in because this issue is very hot on Howard's mind, and I can appreciate that. But you see, the conversation I was lending to at the beginning, Howard, is one of ability and capability. We have lost that in the shuffle of politics based on our own desires. Would we desire a politician to look like? Most of our politicians today are of the legal profession. That's who we put in there, people who know how to make laws, but also who knows how to bend the laws. That's who you put in there. No one else is to blame other than the Bahamian people. But I drew on a person, and we keep on running from this person of Pop Simnet only because, and this is why I did it, because here was a man who started humbly as an educator who only had 6 years of formal education. And for those people who don't believe education is important, here's a man who did not have much education, but he still was a brilliant businessman, and he became a politician at the young age of 26 and lasted 52 years based on his own ability. Ability, a businessman, ability. To take this country from his age of 26, he died at age 81, but he lasted in Parliament until 1971, was it? Was it 71? 77, in the Shirley district. 52 years of stellar service. And I'm saying to you, show me the politicians today, Howard Grant, who can do such manner. You're having immigration issues. You're having issues in finance. You're having issues in investments. You're having issues with the roads and public service. You're having issues with BPL. And I'm hearing all these plethora of issues. But like you said, these are the persons that we have put in there. And why have we put those persons there? Because they look like us? Because they come from us? Because they are us? We know what the Bahamas is. Don't act as if we are a Boy or Girl Scout type of a country. We know how most people here become extremely wealthy. It's not because Jesus blessed them. We know this. But what we also do know is that, and I'm going to say it because the show is over, but I only brought about this conversation today. I'll tell you why and what was my springboard on this. This country lacks leadership. I was so surprised when I saw this headline in The Guardian because I actually came here today to give the FNM, since people think I'm a PLP, I'm going to give the FNM a name for a leader. that we maybe overlooked, maybe it cost us, maybe it didn't. And that was going to be my discussion today. But we're out of time, Howard. We're out of time. But ask yourself...
It's a live show. Things happen.
I'm not offended. I'm just simply saying.
Things happen. This is a live show. This is not a
I have
show.
a name for you. I'm going to hold that name for now.
Hold a name.
I'm going to hold that name.
Hold it close to your
chest.
chest.
This is what I want to say to you, though. Papa, you are quite correct. The people of the Bahamas have not only been disrespected, but we have disrespected each other, Howard. Right in our very own country as a contractor. You're talking about these Chinese people who are here working. When I do a job well, ask the people if they want to pay me my full amount of money or if they want to pay me any money at all, and I just completed the doggone job. And for those people who do halfway work, you take all the people money and don't do the friggin' job. I almost got sorry. They didn't do the job. This is the type of generation we have.
Let's be very clear.
Don't act as if we have treated each other with the utmost respect. Let me put this plain to you before I leave, Howard.
This doesn't happen because of the generation.
Now, I want to show you something, Howard.
This isn't the generational issue.
I want to say this, Howard.
This is a conditional issue.
And I'm going to leave this here with you. When the European, I like to use the term European. You know what I mean? I say European. I ain't talking about no one from Africa.
You mean the right people. Go ahead.
Okay, good. Come here in a plane. From the time they land at the Sir Lyndon Pinland International Airport to the beach, all they get from us is a bow and respect. When they come on the boat, bow and respect.
I will read this.
I know you. Just give me 1 minute. I'm going to finish with one little point.
Go ahead.
Okay? When you see me, who you don't know, you know nothing about me, tell me the truth as to what you think about me, your fellow Bahamian. Do I get that same bow and respect? Why not? Why can't I be respected for being the person I am who I built myself up to be? And then I'll ask you, since you like Europeans so much and you call them white people so much, I can ask you this one question before we go. When are we going to allow, again, a 100% Bahamian who's white to be the prime minister of this country and get it right? That's what I ask.
In 2002, the PLP had an entire campaign dedicated to having a conversation about salt and pepper. I can't forget this. This is my first time voting.
I want you to believe this.
I can't forget.
I'm not talking about color now. I'm talking about ability.
I'm
with you.
But people,
I'm agreeing with you.
People are wrapped up in the superficiality of it all.
White and black, and I'm dealing with ability.
Not the capability
Which
of it all.
one of us can actually manage a multi-billion-dollar economy?
Let's just get back to this. Let's be very clear about this.
I'm going to talk about leadership. How are you going to lead someone you don't know nothing about?
As I wrap this up, this is not a generational issue. This is a conditional issue. I read this for you.
Of course it is.
I read this for you, released on July 26, 2023.
Read it.
First paragraph's last sentence. It says, each immigration case is unique and handled in a case-by-case basis. Taking into consideration, there was a comma there. There's no full stop. There's no full stop. Let's read this thing. Each immigration case is unique and handled in a case-by-case basis, comma, taking into consideration the specific circumstances and information available at the time. That's what they say. And then they go further. They said, they start to talk about the breaches. We caution those who put the individual stuff out there. Watch this now. Watch it. Second sentence. It says, the discretion was exercised in line with the practices of previous administrations under the similar circumstances. That is conditioning, sir.
I know.
Okay, so at the top they tell us, we're dealing with these things individually based upon what's happening. At the bottom they say, well, based upon the last administration, this is conditioning. There is no desire to get back to the Constitution. There's no desire to get back to the rule of law. Let me take these telephone calls before we get it here. Caller on the line with us live, go ahead. Caller on the line with us live, you got 30 seconds, go ahead. No? Next caller, caller on the line with us live, go ahead.
Hey, Howard, good day.
Hey, how you doing, my dear?
And good day to Mr. God.
Hey, my dear.
I want to know the name.
I know.
Because now you got me waiting for next week.
But listen to me. I'm talking about ability. The ability to manage a multi-billion-dollar situation.
I'm gonna hold the name that I have in mind to see if you and I thinking along the same line.
Not many people.
We can put it in a hat and raffle it off.
You see, here's
don't say the name.
Mr. Howard, Mr. Howard, with all of what's going on right now with this government.
Yes.
You know, when I listened to the Aaron Green show today, there was somebody humming a song in the background that stuck in mind, and it says, 10 in the bed, the little one said, roll over.
Oh, Lord.
That's all I thought to say.
My God. I appreciate your telephone call. Next caller, you got 30 seconds. Caller, you on the line with us live. Go ahead.
Yeah, based on what happened today, they have all sealed their fate, the Progressive Labour Party. I don't blame them for opting to serve their last 2.5 years. I don't make the mistake that ministers make, but they have all sealed their fate.
My God, I appreciate your telephone call. Let's read these texts before we get it. It's a good afternoon, Howard, guest, and the Bahamas. I don't believe that there is a shortage in leadership. There seems to be a fair amount of it in the Bahamas. What is truly missing in leadership with the ability and the will to act and carry out a righteous judgment in accordance with the laws of the Bahamas, equally to all where and when it is applicable to do so. I think in essence of your description of leadership, there is a lack. Because leadership and conviction should be synonymous. Unless it's management.
Maybe.
Unless it's supervisory.
You know something?
It's not leadership.
I just got a moment here on the Howard Grant Show. Something just came into my mind. Do you think this is all on purpose? Because guess what? It is through these vices of the past that people became extremely wealthy that ordinarily would not have become wealthy. So if the country is mismanaged, then there are some people in this country who can now become extremely wealthy without any accountability.
But that's what wars bring. Isn't that what wars bring?
So are we at war in the Bahamas?
That's what wars bring. Wars bring a significant increase. In fact, both, those persons who wishing to find themselves in a significant position, they fund both sides of the war. History tells you that.
So if you put
That's
a hand on the immigration crisis on boats coming in from the South, then you're also putting a hand on the drug trade coming from the South. And vice versa.
We could talk about that. It says, Howard, please Google the 1990 coup in Trinidad and Tobago. It is what we need to get into our Bahama land for these people to listen. This is a text that's coming through. Guys, I want to thank you so very kindly for being able to tune in today. Our time is absolutely finished. It's complete. It's done. No more. We're going to be able to go pick up from here on, I want to say Friday, but I will not be here on Friday. I have some things I got to do. So we're going to be able to give a good rerun and talk about those things and talk about what we're going to be doing going forward. But tomorrow is Small Business Thursday. If you want to be a part of that, 827-0111, 827-0111. We can get out here and kind of talk about your business and whatnot. But let's just shoot straight in this country, man. I think it's a casual thing. First and foremost, you want to throw everybody under the bus who are making the decision to go contrary for themselves and their families. Politicians do the exact same. Man, this is a wild thing. This is a wild thing that we wrap ourselves up in this sort of an idea that everyone should pledge allegiance to the flag and no one pledges allegiance to their family. This is wild. I want to have a good conversation with you guys. We're going to see you tomorrow, Godspare, right here on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, The Foundation with Howard Grant. Guys, have a beautiful day. We'll see you tomorrow, Godspare. And be safe, man. Stay hydrated and don't get wet. Praise God. We can see you tomorrow.
Foundation. The foundation. 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 The foundation. The foundation.